Hello, everyone. It's Sonny McDonald here, and thank you for listening to my live. Wow, what a week. There's so much I could talk about today, but I know I wanted to really focus on vulnerability and kindness and why it takes courage to be vulnerable and also to be kind. And also, I'm going to share each week books that I'm reading to inspire you all to keep learning and to keep being courageous and kind to yourself and having this amazing growth and leadership mindset. And I was talking to this phenomenal coach in Sydney. We're having this great conversation around vulnerability and kindness and the fact that we still find that so many people struggle with this because they see vulnerability and kindness as being a weakness when it's actually a superpower. You know, turning up and showing your authentic self and showing that you're human. And I think all these things are so important. They're not weaknesses. As I said, they're superpowers. And you can always be strong as a person and a leader and set boundaries and still be kind and show compassion and empathy. And I just think, and kindness, I think it's so important. And as you know, I'm really passionate about courage and kindness because I write about it in my book, First Comes Courage. And I'm also actually, while I'm talking about books, I'm actually reading this fantastic book at the moment called Courageous Cultures by Karen Hurt and David Dye. I highly recommend it. It's a great book. So I'm reading that plus several others, which I'm going to be sharing with you over the next few weeks and months. I'm really keen to do more of these lives to get people really help and inspire people to understand why vulnerability and kindness matter. Anyway, back to this really great conversation with this phenomenal coach in Sydney. So her and I were talking about the fact that we work with all these different people and everywhere around the globe, and they could be, emerging leaders, they could be middle managers, they could be CEOs, they could be execs, they could be graduates. There's so many people that we work with. And funnily enough, I work with more men than I do women, even though I'm passionate about leadership for everybody. But in saying that, like with the men that I work with, it's really interesting. Okay, it's really interesting because I actually know men and want to be more vulnerable and want to show more kindness. And look, I think it's more of a kind of like more of a nurture thing. Maybe they're brought up that they feel that showing any sort of kindness or vulnerability is seen as you're not the tough alpha male, or that it's a weakness. But the thing is, these men that actually do embrace it are the ones that stand out and shine. And I want to talk about that because it really takes courage to go, you know what, this is who I am. Like, I actually want to demonstrate vulnerability and kindness. And it was interesting recently. I saw a CEO speak, and I had to be really courageous in this particular environment and call him on some behavior. And he shared some vulnerability after I kind of said to him, look, maybe what you said wasn't really encouraging to the group, maybe. And he recognized that maybe he had framed it the wrong way and his intent wasn't coming across the best. But when he showed vulnerability and actually shared a story about himself, like a real story about himself, you know what, the room really connected with him. And I think, and the amount of times, even like I know, oh, thanks, Marsha. I know so many great men out there. Like we work mostly in the construction and engineering space and mining and a lot of male dominated industries. And obviously we're very passionate to get more women in these industries, but I work with mostly men, right? We work with mostly men. It's really interesting to see. They're very different when you're coaching them one-on-one than they are out there on the paddock or out there on the project side or in the head office or in the corporate environment. They feel that they have to, they have to operate in a way or lead or behave in a way that is where they don't see they're going to be judged, where that they do show kindness or vulnerability, that they're not going to be put down or pulled down, even though they want to. And I kind of go, hang on, but you're very, very different with me one-on-one than you are out there. So that must be causing you a lot of stress that you're operating in a way where you'd actually like to show more courage and kindness and compassion and empathy and vulnerability, that you're too scared to. You have fear of that. Maybe, and I really try to instill in them to have the courage to show that, to open themselves up, to share, to connect, to show that they're human. And it's amazing to see when they do, when they're being their authentic selves, where they're trying not to be someone else, or they're not trying to fit into what they feel is what is expected of them as a male. Is so, oh my gosh, it is so empowering. It's so inspiring to see these men. And I'm not saying, and look, and I'm not saying it's just men. It's also women that we work with as well. I know of women, gosh, that act differently out there in the environment. Again, they're trying to fit into, maybe it could be like if it's in a male-dominated environment, they're trying to fit into a male world or an alpha world because they feel as though they'll be judged if they don't. And then when, again, I get them to embrace their authentic selves and go, hey, you know what, you're a woman, and like be feminine or be who you are, or, if you want to show kindness and compassion and vulnerability, then do it. Because when we show vulnerability, when we show kindness, the research and the data and the work that we've been doing, gosh, over the last 14 years in this space, right, you start to build trust with people. When you show your authentic self, or when you share stories of this is who I am and this is what I've experienced, or this is what I'm going through, or when you truly are curious and connect with others because you really care about others, you build trust. And can I tell you, Amy Cuddy did some great research around this. The number one, I agree, we should not underestimate the correlation between mental health and psychological safety in the workplace. So true. And I love that because there's some great research around that as well. But Amy Cuddy did this research and said the number one thing that's stopping executives really climbing the ladder or getting into those roles where they really want to advance in their careers and get those senior executive roles is the ability to demonstrate or show trust. Trust is everything. And how do you do that? One way of doing that is showing vulnerability and kindness. As you said, that like psychological safety. And it's interesting, like whoever said this around the psychological safety, because there's some great, again, Google psychological safety, Harvard and Google, and you'll see some great research around this, is the fact that, and also, where was I going with that? I always get distracted. I don't even know where I was going with that. Oh, I was going to say, like, we talk about safety so much. Like, I see safety being on so many values of companies that we work with. And we talk about keeping people safe, but what about making people feel safe, and letting people be who they are? And again, that takes curiosity, that takes vulnerability, that takes us getting to know each other and really accepting who we are. And that's why, I'm so passionate about this space. So, because it does take courage. Can I tell you, it really does take courage to show kindness and to show vulnerability. And when I sort of say it, when some people say to me, I do have courageous conversations with people. I do give them feedback if I feel that it needs to be something to really help them and develop them. I do it with kindness. I always do it with kindness because I think that's really important. And I'm also, I kind of go, this is who I am. Like, this is, and I think the thing that I'm seeing, and I'm seeing a real shift in this at the moment, I think COVID really did help with this, even though it was such an awful shit show for so many people last year, is that we've kind of now understood that life isn't about work life. It's life, right? And the amount of times I say to my team, like, when you show up here or when we're working, this is life. And if you've got stuff going on at home or with your family or with your friends or for yourself, let's talk about it. Let's share it, because I'm sure there's going to be elements of work or what we do here at Leadership HQ and McDonald Inc. that you share with your friends and family, or you're thinking about, when you're at home. It's kind of like there's kind of that separation. So I think, as I know, as a CEO of, these companies and with a team, I really embrace that they are open and they're vulnerable and they share with me what's going on, so I can help them and I can really support them. I mean, even if they ring me on weekends and they've got issues going on, go, hey, give me a call. Like, I want to help. Like, I'm here. We know I'm helping you be the best you can be, and I'm supporting you to be the best you can be, whatever that can take. And sometimes we can't be the best we can be. Again, I want to help you with that if you've got some stuff going on. I want people to really embrace that they can be vulnerable with me, because I really care about them. And that's what I think. And I know there's a fear element there as well. I think as well, when we embrace the fear, and we kind of go, you know what, I'm going to embrace the fear, because I know by feeling the fear and embracing it and loving it, it's going to get me to courage. It can also set me free. It can also help me be, as I said, the best I can be. Because when we're operating differently and we're operating in a fear threat response, or we're trying to put a mask on and be someone different to who we are, that creates a new level of stress for the brain and for the body. So I think that it's really, really important, again, and I think it also has to be systemic. It has to be a real cultural thing as well, that it has to come from the top down. This is why we are really passionate about working with, particularly with exec teams around this space, around really embracing and how they can lead cultures not only aligned to their mission and their vision and also their values, but also how they can do it where vulnerability and kindness is actually kind of rippling through the organization as well, because these kind of things like values don't work in isolation. To bring these values, any kind of cultural leadership to life, does take courage. But we can also do that with vulnerability and kindness as well. So check out some of the research and also check out what I've written in my book around this space, the data and the research around the power of vulnerability and kindness. I know Brené Brown does a lot of stuff around this. There's so many now thought leaders out there that are really espousing this stuff, like Simon Sinek and Gary Vee. And also these, as I said, this is a really great book as well. David and Karen are around courageous cultures and that research as well, because I think that moving forward for ourselves, for our children, for our teams, for our businesses, for organizations, for our communities, I think now this is kind of now, I think there's a real tipping point where we're actually really embracing this stuff. I think now we realize that we need this more than ever. We need to be more inclusive. Look at what's going on around the world, around the women in leadership space. I am loving this. I'm so loving this. And I'm loving getting on social media and being really courageous with kindness around having a voice and speaking out about this and helping women step in, step up and start up and lead as well. Okay, so I'm going to get into that in a moment. And also the fact that organizations now are really understanding the power of kindness. Look at the organizations last year, or the companies and CEOs last year that put people before profit, and look at how they're standing out and shining today. The ones that around, courage, the courage to get through what we had to get through last year. That was very much around my focus with our team. We wanted to stay on brand, on mission, on vision, to be kind and courageous. And I'm so proud we did, and I'm so proud we were out there being as kind as we could to so many people, because I believe in karma and it's coming back and ripple effects, and we're still out there being as kind as we can and giving and being as generous as we can, because we just believe that we want to serve and help everyone be great leaders. But back to what we're seeing, especially this week, that we've been seeing around the women in leadership space. And I posted a blog today and a video around women supporting women. So we are so passionate about this space as well, because I know what it's like to be a woman getting back into the workforce. Can I tell you, being a full-time single mother with a toddler with very little money in the bank, didn't know where I was going to live when I moved back from China, having a very short career in China, coming back to Australia going, where do I start? Getting rejected by so many organizations when I was applying for roles, because I was a full-time solo mum and I didn't have the support back then. They didn't offer me the flexibility. It's very different today, which is great to see. So I know how hard it was getting back into a career. And I struggled, and I said yes to an opportunity, thank goodness. Kind of faked a little bit, but I said yes to an opportunity that helped me to get to where I am now. So I'm so passionate about helping women get back into the workforce and giving that courage and confidence to do that. So we're developing some great programs around that. So keen to getting women to step up and step into leadership roles, especially in male-dominated industries as well, getting more women sitting at the table. So we need men and women supporting women to help us with that. That's something else I'm super passionate about. And also helping women start businesses as well. Can I tell you, as a woman in business, it has been the best thing I've ever done, but it's definitely been the most challenging thing. And I have found, gosh, there's so many stories I could tell you about being a woman in business and the lack of kindness I have seen, and also being overlooked because I'm a woman in business, where I've received feedback around, oh, but we'd prefer a male delivering this leadership program. That is absolutely, I have got a handful of stories I can share about that. And it blows me away, because it shouldn't be about gender. It should be about the best person for the job. But obviously we work mostly, we work with lots and lots of different industries. But I remember when I first started my business, it was mainly in construction, engineering and mining and building, areas I'm really passionate about. And I got overlooked. We got overlooked because they felt having women facilitate and coach wasn't right, because they didn't want a woman doing it. Not everyone's been like that, but again, could imagine as a woman in business, that and starting out, that was a challenge. So I had to be super kind to myself with those knocks, and I had to be truly courageous to keep moving forward and keep hustling. I felt like I was doing, and I still do today, that leadership hustle. And I'm like, nothing's going to stop me. Nothing's going to stop us building a world of kind and courageous and inclusive leaders and leadership. And look at it, and also, obviously, I don't know if many of you have been seeing what's been going on with Christine Holgate with Australia Post. Again, so it's just been so amazing to see women and men supporting some of the amazing posts that have been out there about Christine, regardless, again, as what you might see, think about what happened with that situation, or your views on that. At the end of the day, we need to stop pulling people down. We need to stop this lack of leadership, this poor leadership we're seeing in so many levels from corporates and government. And I'm loving seeing the movement around how we are really wanting to change this. I think we've got to a point now where we're just not going to tolerate bullying and poor leadership. I think we're also not going to tolerate anymore where we need to support more women stepping into these roles, back into the workforce. We need to support more women building businesses, starting businesses, growing businesses. I think we all can play a part in that. Again, it takes vulnerability, courage and kindness to do that, and to kind of put yourself out there like I am now, so, and to really think about how my team and I see this as well with lots of other people on social media. I'm on LinkedIn probably more than anything else. Love seeing people supporting and lifting other people up. We need to be doing that more. I'm really, the power, read the article, Women Supporting Women. And that, again, takes vulnerability, kindness and courage. Read that post and blog I posted today. See the research around the power of that and the success and impact we can all have. But again, as I mentioned in the blog, it's about everyone supporting women and also everyone supporting everyone. So I think that's really important. So if anyone's got any questions on this live, I think that it would be really, really great if anyone had any questions while I'm here talking away around anything around vulnerability, around kindness, around courage, because as I always espouse, life is too short. It's already April. These years just go past so quickly. And I think leadership's about having an impact and making a difference. So if you want to think about leaving a legacy, be a leader, okay? Be a leader in this space. So if anyone has got any questions they'd like to ask me before I kind of jump off, reach out to my team at Leadership HQ McDonald Inc. if we can help in any way. If anyone's got any questions, please, I'd love to answer them. Thank you for these great comments here. I want you to also look, when you look at my blog I posted today around women supporting women, and I've hashtagged it. If there's any women that you or yourself that you would love us to share your story with us, or if you'd love to celebrate or lift up, reach out to my team, because we'd love to showcase them on our website as well. I agree, Rosemary, kindness always starts with being kind and respectful to your own self first. So true, so true. When you're kind to yourself, can I tell you that self-kindness, you're so much kinder to everyone else. I don't know if you can see my shirt. I've got a shirt there. We make these great shirts called Kindness is My Superpower. Every time I wear my kindness, my Stay Kind and Courageous shirts, or my kindness is superpower, my kindness is a superpower shirt. I went out today to the chemist to get some stuff, and I had my shirt on, and everyone always comments on my shirts, and I think it's because they really resonate with it. Like, they understand now why it matters. But we really need to be gentle to ourselves. Definitely last year I wasn't as gentle to myself. I know some people around me weren't as well. We were kind of beating ourselves up because there's so many things out of our control. But again, I really, I had to take a step back and think, I espouse this kindness thing. I really need to be kind to myself first and foremost. So when you are kind to yourself, you're so much kinder to everyone else. Can you, everyone, please be kind to yourself, okay? Because you know what, everyone here, we're all such beautiful, beautiful human beings. So be gentle and kind to yourself as well. I think when you're kind to yourself as well, you really build resilience up. So when there's stuff ups, or when you, I was going to use another word, like stuff up or fail, or you get those knocks. And when you're kind to yourself, can I tell you, you overcome things so much better. Again, I talk about that resilience in my book as well. If you have got a book that you would love me to have on my lives as well, please let me know, because, again, I love showcasing and lifting everyone else up in this space. So if you've got a book you'd love me to promote. And you too, Rosemary, have you've got a beautiful heart. Marsha, yeah, I would love to collaborate with the kindness stuff as well. We've got also our Outstanding Leadership Awards, which is celebrating kind and courageous leadership. So, Marsha, if you'd like to have a look at the Outstanding Leadership Awards, or shoot me an email, shoot the team an email or myself an email. I'd love to set up a call. But look at our Outstanding Leadership Awards. They're championing kind and courageous and inclusive leaders and leadership as well. But if you've got any questions, I'm going to head off now, because I don't know if anyone's got any questions, only because I feel it's really nice to have a conversation on these lives. So anyway, you please reach out to us, because we will do anything to lift you up and help you be the best that you can be. Because as well, remember, it's up to us to lead the way. It's up to us to be kind and courageous, vulnerable, inclusive, so we can lead by example for our generations of today and tomorrow. And yes, the Leadership Awards are fantastic, because Rosemary, who's just commenting as well, she was a beautiful finalist. They are amazing. Make sure you send us some great news to put on our news site as well, Rosemary, because we'd love to showcase some news from you as well. So again, stay kind and courageous. I will see you next week. I'll be recommending some other really great books. Next week, I'm going to be recommending and talking about a book called Three Peaks Leadership. by Philip Levison. So stay tuned for that. But if there's anything that you would like me to talk about on these lives, if you've got a book you'd love me to showcase on these lives, if there is a great leader out there, please nominate them. If you know a great woman out there, please support them and showcase them. Let's all just together, we're all one world, and let's all together collaborate, be curious, care, be compassionate, and let's always be kind and courageous. Thank you so much, and stay safe. Bye.